I'm joined by Buford's Nate Taylor, a 2024 right-hander and Georgia Tech commit. Nate, welcome in, man. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So the PBR scouts had you at 88 this summer on the fastball. Do you feel like you're close to that breakthrough of getting to 90?
Actually, towards the end of the summer down in Fort Myers, I hit 92 for the first time. And I was on that 88, 89 border there for a little bit. But then at that one game felt good and it just jumped up there.
All right. Well, I love to stand corrected on that. What was that moment like? And did you have any idea that you had taken it that far up?
I did not know at that point. I was pitching. It was an intense game, 6-5. I came in to close and just guess the adrenaline was going and it ran up there pretty good.
Okay. So what's the goal for you now? And what's the game plan to getting to that point?
Right now, my goal is just to have a successful Buford season. Obviously, this past season was pretty good. Lost in the Final Four. Hoping to make it to state this upcoming year, but just preparing for that. Obviously, fastball goal next after 90 is always 95, but I'm not trying to necessarily think about that and more just becoming a better pitcher each day.
A lot of guys will then put the focus in the lower half. I mean, obviously, you can only do so much with the arm. Is that kind of where you're at now? You have to build that lower half up to get to where you want to get?
Yes, sir. With a lot of training, focusing on certain aspects of my body that have to do a lot more with pitching than necessarily just lifting big, just specific things like that to help increase velocity.
So I know you also throw the curveball, slider, change. What's the best secondary pitch, and which one are you really focused on upgrading right now?
I want to upgrade my curveball the most. I have good control with it, but just increasing the spin rate more and more helps out a lot. I also like my changeup a good bit. Changeup is an interesting pitch. It's a field pitch. In the past year or two, it's gotten a lot better. After this Buford season, Dylan actually showed me his grip, and I worked on that a lot, long tossing with it, just getting a good feel for it. And I've seen that pitch gotten a lot better these past couple years.
Okay, so you took me this direction. I was going to get into guys like Dylan Lesko. I know people loved that changeup of his going into this last MLB draft, but you're part of a Buford program that's just been a talent factory. Guys like Joey Bart, who's playing for the Giants, Dylan Lesko, who's number 15 pick by the Padres this past summer. Tell me about the standard that's set with the Wolves and how that environment and producing players like that benefits those who come after them.
Well, Coach Chester and Coach Adams, they just hold us to a higher standard over there. It's nobody's above the B. Obviously, Dylan, the best pitcher in the 2022 class, and you wouldn't really know it until you really saw him get on the mound, obviously. But just being one of the guys coming in as a sophomore, not really knowing what to expect, all the guys just bringing me in. We had Caden come in as well, who was also new to Buford, and it just really everyone clicked and bonded just as a family, just because of the environment Coach Chester sets up there.
Tell me about influences. Like, who do you watch? Who have you kind of looked at, either their mechanics, their demeanor on the mound, and kind of taken that and put it within your own game?
Coming here as a freshman, just I was on freshman my freshman year, looked up to all those varsity guys who I eventually became friends with and got to play with. But just seeing Dylan, Jackson, and Riley, all those guys throw from freshman year till right now, even they're at Tech and then Dylan's recovering, just watching them, the mechanics, they're great guys to look up to. Just not even just the baseball side, pitching mechanics, obviously, but then just them as people and their families are just great people to look up to.
What about at the pro level? Is there anybody that's your guy that would you've got to watch his starts? You got to check out his video, and see him on Twitter. Is there anybody in Instagram? Anybody in particular like that you really keyed in on?
My favorite baseball player just growing up has always been Andrew McCutcheon. But as I be formed into more of a pitcher, I'd like to watch Max Scherzer a lot more just because of how he is, his mechanics, just him as a pitcher, just hearing different stories about him coming up is just pretty cool.
So you committed to Georgia Tech in August, one of 10 players in the top 70 in Georgia in the PBR rankings in the class of 2024, all headed to the Flats. Cole Royer, Connor Schuss. What's the relationship like already with those players? Is there a group chat, or how are you guys starting to already build that bond for that group that's going to be Yellow Jackets?
The day I committed, they actually added me to a group chat with all the guys, and now I play on East Cobb, and I'm with Alex, Connor, and then whenever we're playing with the 23s, Tate McKee, he's also there. So just getting to talk to them a lot more is pretty cool. And then obviously Ethan Murray is one of my best friends since I was a lot younger. I've known him for a while. He's also committed there. So that relationship's been there for a little while.
What was ultimately the pull for you? Was there any one in particular that was instrumental in you deciding on the Yellow Jackets? Was it just being down there and being around the program? What was ultimately that deciding factor for you?
The deciding factor for me was probably Coach Burrell, pitching coach. I talked to a couple of different coaches, and just talking with him, hearing him talk about me pitching, it just was a complete game changer. And that's when I really knew that I was set on tech. And obviously, knowing guys that in the 22 and 23 class already going there and already being friends and having a relationship with people in my class that are going there just felt like the right fit for me.
Okay, so you talked to us a little bit about what you throw, but I kind of want to see it in motion here. You've got a ball. Take me
Yes,
through
sir.
your grips and kind of just that spin that you put on things.
I got a four-seam fastball right here. Just focus on getting on top of it. My ball has a weird way of getting carried to it. So when I get a lot of swing and miss on it, it's a lot normally higher in the zone and they swing under it. So I just focus on getting a good spin rate on that. And then I've got it's like an 11-5 curveball here. I can adjust sort of if it's 12-6, 11-5, just based on my grip here or here, but I feel most comfortable with a 11-5. And then I got a two-seam fastball just like this, just try and get some good run on it. And then my changeup grip here, I just sort of have a loose grip with it. And then what I always tell myself is to touch the catcher's glove with my ring finger, and it just helps me pronate it pretty well to get some good movement on it.
Hey, man, that was awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.